So Ken, how do you go about cultivating love?
Well, it's remarkably simple in principle, in fact. And this occurred to me quite some years ago when I was actually exploring love as an emotion. Because as a psychotherapist initially, obviously feelings are a significant part of doing that, and teaching people about their feelings was also very significant for the groups of people I was working with. And love was one of the major feelings. And it occurred to me eventually that love is a response to becoming one with another person, or an aspect of another person, or a living being like an animal, or a tree, or whatever. Whenever we start to experience the emotion of love with something or someone, we've moved into a state of oneness or union with it. And all of a sudden the formula was easy. If we are not loving, say in relationships, then one of the things we can do is to seek to become one with, that is to unite with, join, cooperate, be open to, merge with the people that we're wanting to love. And we can imagine ourselves doing that, and we can actually do things to encourage that, like hold hands. And we can also say things like, I love you, and I cherish you, and that sort of thing, where the idea is to drop the boundaries and release ourselves from being separate and individual. Then when I started to meditate, what I discovered was that the connection between union and love remained. That actually we don't have one without the other. So when we're loving, we are in union. When we're in union, we're experiencing love. And it may not be emotional love, because we've got like this physical love, what Elizabeth and I in Parentcraft call body love. This feeling love, which is to do with the emotion of love. This person love, which is to do with our appreciation and our love of the person that we're related to. And then there's being love. And emotional love comes and goes with the ebb and flow of events in our lives. And person love is much more of a constant, and parents know a lot about person love, hopefully. Because quite often when their kids are being really difficult and separating themselves out and that sort of thing, we don't experience emotional love, but we do still love our children. It's like a stance, but it's a union of our personhood with the personhood of our children. Being love is like souls shaking hands and becoming one. Mm-hmm. And so there it is again. It's like the two dimensions, when they come together, we've got this experience of love. Now, given that awakening is about becoming whole, that is becoming one with everything, the heart as the centre of business, as it were, becomes quite crucial, because there are all sorts of different parts of ourselves, for example. Our bodies, the shapes of our bodies, our attitudes to our bodies, our histories, our feelings, our thoughts, all sorts of things. And what we need to do is practice moving into union with each of those and all of those, so that we love the whole of ourselves. So we melt away the divisions and the separations and the things that are inhibiting ourselves, experiencing ourselves as one and wholly acceptable. There's also people on the outside, that to be awakened, it's very hard to be awakened if all we're doing is loving ourselves. We need to be loving the whole of our experience, which means all the other people in our lives, all the events, all the situations, the whole world, and maybe the whole cosmos. So, you know, maybe a big job, but the idea is to practice being in union with all of that, so that this whole thing becomes part of who we experience ourselves to be. But it's not then separated, so There's not this person here and that object there, and so I love that and I love that. And it doesn't stay like that. It's just a deep sense of wholeness develops, which we experience as a state. Then, of course, that's going out horizontally, as it were. Then we've got the what you might think of as vertical issues of transcendent consciousness and experiences of different types of energy and different states of awareness and so on. And again, as we practice centered in the heart, moving into a state of union with all of that as well, as each element of it presents itself, then other dimensions of ourselves become something that that are part of the whole that we're experiencing. Except you say part of the whole, and since it's a whole, there are no parts. And eventually, as we sort of get more and more whole in terms of our experience, what starts to happen is the vastness increasingly is what we're experiencing, and we become the oneness and therefore the love that's inherent in life itself, or the infinite, or the divine, or God, or however we experience that.